When people talk about the stock market, they often picture Wall Street, trading floors and flashing tickers. But in 2025, the heart of modern finance beats somewhere else, inside the Nasdaq Composite. It's more than just an index. It's a barometer for innovation, risk, and the entire global tech economy. From Apple and Microsoft to Nvidia and Tesla, the Nasdaq reflects the companies shaping our future. So today, we're breaking down what the Nasdaq really is, how it moves markets, and why its performance in 2025 could define the next decade of investing. What is the Nasdaq Composite? The Nasdaq Composite Index was born in 1971, a time when the idea of digital trading was revolutionary. It tracks more than 3,000 companies listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, mostly in technology, biotech, and communication sectors. Unlike the Dow Jones, which follows just 30 major companies, or the S&P 500, which tracks 500, the Nasdaq represents a much broader slice of corporate America, especially the tech world. If you've invested in companies like Apple, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, or Nvidia, you're already tied to the Nasdaq's movements. Because when the Nasdaq goes up, it usually means technology is booming, and when it falls, it signals risk, innovation fatigue, or investor fear. The rise of tech and the Nasdaq boom, from the 1990s dot-com bubble to the 2020s AI revolution, the Nasdaq has always been the home of disruption. In 2020 and 2021, the index skyrocketed as investors poured into tech stocks during the digital boom. Then, in 2022, inflation and rate hikes caused a painful crash, wiping out trillions in value. But by 2025, the Nasdaq is back in the spotlight. Artificial intelligence, quantum computing, semiconductor innovation, and the clean tech transition have reignited investor enthusiasm. Companies like Nvidia, AMD, Microsoft, Broadcom, and Supermicro have become the new pillars of the Nasdaq. Meanwhile, startups in AI infrastructure and cloud computing are fueling the next growth cycle. The Nasdaq isn't just recovering, it's redefining the modern economy. How the Nasdaq impacts everyday investors. So what does the Nasdaq mean for you and me? When you invest in ETFs like the Invesco QQQ or Nasdaq 100 Index Fund, you're buying a piece of this tech-driven ecosystem. That's why headlines like Nasdaq rallies 2% or Nasdaq hits record high matter. They directly influence retirement funds, 401ks, and global investor sentiment. In simple terms, the Nasdaq tells us whether investors are confident about the future of innovation. If it's rising, optimism is high. If it's falling, fear is spreading. It's not just an index, it's a psychological measure of faith in technology itself. Section 4. The Nasdaq in 2025. Challenges and opportunities. 340 for 5 across. As of October 2025, the Nasdaq faces a mixed landscape. The positives. AI spending continues to grow. Cloud computing and semiconductors remain strong. Retail investors are returning after the crypto winter. The risks. Rising interest rates still threaten high-growth valuations. Geopolitical tensions between the US and China create uncertainty for chip makers, and some analysts warn of AI stock overvaluation. Still, the Nasdaq has proven its resilience for over 50 years. Every major dip, from the dot-com crash to the 2008 recession, was followed by a period of massive innovation and wealth creation. So the question isn't if the Nasdaq will rise again, it's when. The Nasdaq Composite isn't just a number on a chart, it's the pulse of progress. It tracks our collective bet on the companies building the future, from AI and robotics to clean energy, biotech, and beyond. In 2025, the Nasdaq stands as a reminder that volatility and innovation always go hand in hand. Because behind every market crash or surge, there's a story of ambition, technology, and the relentless drive to create something new. So next time you see that Nasdaq ticker flash green or red, remember, it's not just a market update. It's a reflection of how much humanity still believes in the power of innovation. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more stories that go beyond the markets and into the future of money.